new in town? By the looks of you, you aren't here to buy my simple wares. Perhaps you can help me. I need someone who isn't afraid of a little danger.
We're no strangers to people trying to kill us. Perhaps we can assist you.
I'm expecting a shipment of clothing, and the caravan is late. It's not exactly bars of gold, but silk is pricey enough to tempt thieves. Out east of the city, there's a camp of Lascanzi, deserters from Jane Cassender's army. They're looting every caravan that passes by. I'm not the only merchant waiting for that shipment. I need someone to scare off those thieves. Or kill them, if need be.
Don't worry. We'll make sure the road is clear.
Thank you. I will, of course, make this worth your while. The thieves are camped near the road, east of the city, not far from the swamp. Good luck to you. I'll await your return. My supplies arrived. Thank you, my friends. Here's half of what I stood to lose had you not helped me.
Must have roused the people of Stonebridge to a great fury. This place was torn apart. Destroying these sentinels again and again. Oh, a secret causeway entrance. I wonder what sort of illicit uses this might be put to. This must be the causeway entrance then, yes?
Katarina, take the causeway back to Rukenval. Tell Odo and Martin that we've reclaimed the chapter house and bring them back here.
Martin and Odo will be surprised to see me, no? I'll return as soon as I can, with our friends in tow.
This place, it hasn't changed so much.
We heard rumors of a battle in the swamp. Royalists against Jane Cassinda. What news? You weren't caught up in any trouble, I hope.
The rumors of a battle were true. Most of the royal army are dead, but we met their general, a man called Devonsey.
Devonsey? You're sure that was his name?
30 years ago, Finn Devonsey was one of us. Master of the Legion Chapterhouse in Glacier. And he called himself by a different name. A Legion name.
He called himself by another name? What was it?
Bohemond. An old and respectable name. He wasn't born to the Legion, so he took the name after he joined. My father knew him. Spoke well of him.
When the Legion was accused of murdering the king, Devonsey renounced his vows and quit the Legion. Insisted that the charges were true. Stubborn man, strong conscience. Best tactical mind in the Legion, too.
Devonsey turned his back on the Legion. We can't be expected to take him back.
No, perhaps not. But he'd still be useful as an ally.
If we seal an alliance with the royal court, we prove that Ebb has a future. People would rally behind us. Last I heard, the Queen had retreated to the Glitterdelf mine.
That's where Jane will be going, too. If she gets her hands on the Queen, our war is lost.
Devonsey mentioned the Queen more than once. What's her name?
Rosalind. She'd be, what, 17 years old by now? Last of the royal line. Jane Cassinda would like nothing better than to capture the girl. With Rosalind caught or dead, resistance dries up and Stonebridge stands alone.
What's the fastest road to Glitterdelf?
Glitterdelf Mine is a long march from here, many days on foot. Take the causeway instead. The Legion had an outpost not far from the mines. Must have been a causeway there, too, and I doubt the gate was ever sealed.
How do we know that the Royalists will talk to us?
We don't. They probably still believe that the Legion murdered the old king.
Odo's right. They may be wary of us, but we have truth on our side.
We'll try to find the royal court then. Is there anyone else who might join us?
The Meisters, the merchant lords of Stonebridge. They'd be powerful friends.
Friends? These people believe Jane's lies. They murdered our brothers and sisters. No reason to think they'll embrace us now.
No reason to think they won't, if we show ourselves worthy of trust. At least the Meisters could tell us if any Legionnaires survived.
So the Meisters govern Stonebridge? Are they nobility?
Nobility? Far from it. They're the richest men in the city. Merchants, bankers, bureaucrats. Stonebridge calls itself a republic now, ever since the old king died, and the people drove out the last Lord Mayor.
Stonebridge has an army of automatons, and it hasn't been touched by war. The Meisters would make for stronger allies.
True. And they are just down the road. Convenient, no?
Up to you. Martin and I will trust in your decision, and we'll be here if you need us.
Begging your pardon, but I was asked to speak to you. To tell the truth, the circumstances were rather unusual.
All right. Tell me why you're here.
Years ago, I served as butler to a Legion commander, Etienne Dumarnet. When the Legion fell, it was said that my employer died in Stonebridge, killed by Jane and her mobs. But that was a lie. Dumane fled north to the Abbey of St. Hiram at the edge of the Erenoi Desert. He was seeking something there, but he never told me what it was.
After all these years, are you sure he isn't dead?
I must confess, I assumed he was dead, caught by Jane Cascinder or slain by brigands in the desert. But now, a few nights ago, I had a dream. A child appeared before me, a boy with golden hair. He assured me that Dumane had reached the Abbey. The boy said that he is still there, waiting for his comrades.
You're sure he meant me?
He spoke of you by name. I know it sounds mad, but the boy was no mere dream. I believe that Dumane may still be alive, and I beg you to seek him out.
It would take us weeks to reach the Abbey on foot. We can't afford the time right now.
Not to mention the patience. The road to the Erenoi is very long and very dull.
No, the child thought of that. He said that you could travel by causeway, and he told me you'd know what that meant, even if I did not.
Ah, another branch of the causeway, yes? Convenient how they always take us where we need to go.
Then I've done as the child asked, and I will entrust the matter to you. If you find Dumane, tell him he is not forgotten. His old retainers and friends still honor his family's name, and we will welcome his return.
Please do not litter or excrete in alleyways.
Free the Krug!
Free the Krug!
Free the Krug!
Ah, half a minute there. You came from the Chapterhouse, did you not? Tell me, is it true? Has the Legion returned?
Introductions first. Who are you?
Sigismund Wolf at your service. Meister of Stonebridge and First Constable for this calendar year.
Pleased to meet you. And yes, the Legion has returned to Stonebridge.
Ha! Let them laugh at me now! Meister Wolf, with his silly dreams of radiant children and prophecies of the Legion's return.
Are any Legionnaires still living in Stonebridge?
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid not. Jane and her mobs were quite thorough. That whole affair was a mark of shame upon our city. Be assured that I took no part in that travesty, nor did my father, or anyone else who bears the name Wolf.
You had a dream of a golden-haired child? A boy?
Precisely so. Not a fortnight past. I dreamt that I saw a golden-haired boy standing at my bedside. He bade me get up and follow him.
Tell me the rest of your dream.
The boy led me through the city square, then up to the Chapterhouse gate. Only, it wasn't dark and abandoned, as it's been for so long. It was clean and bright. Lion banners snapping in the breeze. Gates open wide, as if expecting the Legion's return. Then I awoke, and there I was, standing in my underclothes, in the middle of the street, gawking at the ruins of the Chapterhouse. A child's idea of a joke, I dare say. Still, I knew it was more than a dream.
I'm here to address the Meisters. We want to propose an alliance against Jane Cascinder.
An alliance? That'll be tricky business. I can force them to give you a hearing, at least. I'll warn you, though, they're scared. Scared of Jane Cascinder and her armies. Scared that we'll lose our republic if she takes the city by force. And scared of other things, too.
I'm ready to address the Meisters.
Capital! I shall go on ahead and announce you. We'll await you inside. Men and goblins, order! Council recognizes the envoy from the 10th Legion.
Meister Wolf tells us that you propose an alliance.
A grave matter indeed. Perhaps our colleague forgot to emphasize how deeply we value our neutrality.
A war with Jane Cassander would risk the very life of our Republic. What do we gain by siding with the Legion?
The Royal Army is destroyed. It's only a matter of time before Jane Cassander turns against you. Let us help protect your city.
You are alone. When facing a hungry wolf, it is better to have friends, yes?
A fair point. We are reasonable fellows, and we know that Jane Cassander looks upon Stonebridge with covetous eyes. Nonetheless, you can understand why some in the city might fear the Legion's return.
Countless Legionnaires were murdered in our streets. People might think that you've come to seek revenge.
Just how many of you turned against the Legion? Surely Meister Wolf took no part.
We cannot all be Sigismund Wolf. Everyone remembers how he ran about the square, trying to put himself between Jane Cassander and the Legionnaires.
Got himself trampled by her horse for his trouble. Very honorable conduct. A credit to his fine old name.
Hear, hear!
But understand, those were different times. The Legion were said to be kingslayers. Many did things that they now regret.
We won't punish a whole city for the actions of a few. If you did nothing wrong, you have nothing to fear.
How can I put this? Your words don't precisely put our fears to rest.
Nonsense! The Legion is no threat. There's far more dangerous things in this city, if you would only open your eyes.
Our colleague again speaks of the dapper old gent, no doubt.
Indeed, sir, I do. You think that the trouble in the Foundry is not the work of the gent?
The gent? Who is he?
Our nemesis, our tormentor, his retribution in mortal guise.
Meister Wolf, let us not turn aside from the matter at hand. We owe the Legion our vote.
No, wait. That hardly seems fair. Force a vote now, and it will assuredly go against the Legion. I propose a recess. Let us each speak privately to the Legionnaires, so that we can reach an informed and impartial judgment.
Sounds like a reasonable idea. We agree.
Indeed, well spoken, Meister Mudgutter. Any objections? None? Council declares a recess. We shall reconvene after the Legion envoy has spoken to each of my esteemed colleagues, and all are prepared to render a judgment.
So the Legion has come looking for my vote. These are perilous times. An entangling alliance is hardly prudent. But I forget my manners. I am Rorik Castle, City Meister and Factor of the Ironmongers.
What does your guild do?
We smelt ore, forge steel, and craft tools for the city's artisans. Most importantly, we oversee the operation of the city's foundry. The foundry is the wellspring of our city's prosperity. We keep the economy in motion, and we are the drumbeat of progress.
Your guild is obviously important. We need friends like you, and we're willing to prove our goodwill.
I've seen his kind before. Coo with him about how important he is, and he'll be clay in your hands.
If you wish to be of service, there is a certain problem that requires attention. The foundry is presently overrun. It's the blasted Cyclopses. They were docile workers for years, but something in them snapped, and they've brought the foundry to a standstill.
We'll take care of these Cyclopses, if you'll pledge your vote to the Legion.
Fine, fine, it's a deal. Speak to my foreman, Mr. Snell, at the foundry. He will explain our predicament in greater detail.
Yes. I was wondering when you'd come and harass me. No doubt you're here to solicit my vote for your organization.
You could at least offer me a proper introduction.
Oh, yes. Trivialities. I'm Lord Barrister Mudgutter, Director of the Office of Contracts and Patents, Chief Magistrate of Stonebridge. And I have some other random titles with capital letters. I think I'm technically the High Marshal of Top Fermenting Beverages.
Let's get right to the point. What can the Legion do to earn your support?
Well, you could help me alphabetize court documents, but a better use of your talents would be to help me with an investigation. Normally, I'd have Wolf handle the situation, but it happens to involve a sizable degree of danger, and Wolf is too important to risk.
If this is the price for your support, I accept. Just tell me what you need.
So, the matter at hand. We've had numerous reports of masked individuals hauling automatons into the crypts under the city. Whatever their aim, they are slowly eroding our defenses, and that is intolerable, especially with Jane Cascinder and her army on the loose. If someone was to enter the crypts and purge them of these criminals, I would owe that person a favor.
Have many of your automatons gone missing?
Only a few have gone missing. More troubling is that a few have returned looking like they were opened and studied.
Consider it done. We'll be back when we've dealt with these criminals.
Well then, if you keep your word, I shall do the same and cast my vote in support of the Legion. Good day.
Greetings, Legionnaire. If you've come to win my vote, don't bother. My mind is made up. Stonebridge will have no entangling alliances. So that's that. Now, if you need some little task to occupy your time, or if you have a question, perhaps I can be of service.
Are you sure there's nothing we can do to win your vote?
At the moment, no. But worry not. I'm sure the other Meisters will vote for you if you sate their self-interested needs. Now, I do have a task or two for you. It's not going to win over my vote, but I would find a way to repay your efforts. Long ago, the Legion served as the mediator of first and last resort. When an argument ran out of control, the Legion offered counsel.
Is the court system of Stonebridge inadequate?
For now, you will arbitrate civil matters that are beyond the purview of the courts. Mudgutter and his barristers will handle the criminals. Your first task is to handle a situation with a prisoner of ours, a Krug. He has no crimes charged against him, but his fate is disputed. Many argue he's safer in prison. Others want him free. He's here in the Meister Hall's jail. Make your inquiries there, then tell the automaton who presides over the jail what you've decided. It's hardly dragon slaying, but if you're true to the Legion, you'll have time for small matters. Go on now, I've got work to do.
Welcome to the Stonebridge Jail. Do you have business with the incarcerated?
I'd like to speak to the Krug prisoner. Fiddlewick asked me to appraise the situation and determine the Krug's fate.
Very well. It is Meister Fiddlewick's prerogative to entrust such decisions to strangers, rather than automated constables with decades of experience. Please note that the Krug has been imprisoned for its own safety. It is highly unpopular with citizens, especially those who own pitchforks.
Krr.
How did you wind up behind these bars?
Krr. Krr.
Can you understand what I'm saying?
Krr.
Ah, yes. Sorry about that. I've been having a terrible bout of phlegm lately. Yes, I can understand you perfectly. Why wouldn't I? Just promise me you won't do that thing where you talk slower and louder. Krr. That never works.
Where did you learn to talk like that?
From my mother. Krr. Before she abandoned me. I guess when your son looks like a hideous monster, maternal compassion withers.
If you're not a Krug, why are you locked up?
I'm tired of being harassed and assaulted. This time I decided I'd let them think I'm a monster and keep me locked up. Krr. I've thought about getting out of here, but I have nowhere to go. I'm content to just stay here and daydream.
I have to decide whether you stay or go free.
Well, I suppose I've committed no crime, unless being hideous is illegal. But if it's all the same to you, I'm safe here. Let them go on thinking I'm a Krug. It won't hurt my feelings. If you let me go, have someone escort me out of the city at least.
Welcome to the Stonebridge Jail. Do you have business with the incarcerated?
I've come to a decision on the Krug.
I will enact whatever outcome you deem appropriate. Please enunciate carefully.
He should stay in the cell until space is needed. The locals will just try to kill him.
Very well. The Krug will remain in protective custody. Your innovative solutions clearly surpass the abilities of automated constables. Thank you.
Grr. It's safe in here.
I wasn't certain that the Legion had truly returned, but after witnessing your resolution of the plight of the oppressed Krug proletariat, it caused a great imbalance in my sanguine humors. Fairly had me bursting with them. Now then, we have much to accomplish. Shall we get started?
What do you mean by we have much to do? Who exactly are you?
Yes, we. First person plural, in this case collective. I could lend you this excellent book on grammar, but wait, I'm forgetting my manners. I am Reinhard Manx, scholar, inventor, and sartorial adventurer. I have degrees in advanced thaumaturgical studies and non-Goblinian geometry. Naturally, I also have a grounding in the classics, but more importantly to you, I am descended from the Grand Mage Merrick, a legionnaire through and through. Well, needless to say, it's been my dream to reunite with other children of the 10th Legion. Second only to the dream of a thaumaturgical waistcoat that can change its color and cut to match the latest season's fashions.
How have you lived in Stonebridge all this time? I thought this town had a bad history with the Legion.
Had I trumpeted my lineage, we would have seen democracy in action. The ballot would have been whether I would be lynched or dissected, but still... I used to dream that the Legion would rise up from the ashes. But I also dream of square circles, so make of that what you will. The people of Stonebridge may have committed a terrible crime against the Legion, but I think it's time to forgive and rebuild.
Forgiveness is an old virtue of the Legion. I'd say your heart is in the right place.
In all my studies of time, I found that you can coil it, twist it, bend it, but it always unwinds the same way. Hatred can't undo the past, so why hold a grudge? Why bother defending Ebb if you can't accept that its people will make mistakes? And of course, forgiveness facilitates the open exchange of ideas. It's hard to have a symposium with a lynch mob.
You said you were a scholar, but have you seen any combat?
I'm hardly the mage that my great-grandfather was, but I was best in my class when it came to channeling and energy manipulation. I may possess a physique best described as suety, but by application of higher non-Goblinian mathematics, I could rip a man in half with a thought. Well, theoretically I could. It's not as though I practice on people. That would be rather rude, and mildly illegal, but mostly rude.
We need everyone in the Legion to join forces. Are you with us?
Am I with you? Does the thaumaturgical constant Q trend towards infinity for given values of the human soul? The answer is yes, by the way. The Legion needs to stand together, lest we fade into memory. So without further ado, let's be off.
I should thank you for resolving the matter of the Krug. Such a small issue, but it required an outside voice.
Do you have another problem for me to mediate?
Yes, I do. Baron is a wealthy landowner with a claim to many parcels of land here in town. He wants to charge rent to Hans. Hans has an equally compelling claim to the plot of land. Mudgutter informs me it's a case of eminent domain versus original acquisition. With the court deadlocked, both have agreed to let you settle their dispute. I'll have them meet you at the Chapterhouse.
They're here. I'm Hans. This is Baron. We have a disagreement, and we decided we'd abide by whatever decision you make.
Indeed. Years ago, the Legion settled disputes, and Hans and I have a conundrum that Stonebridge law can't resolve.
We have a moment to listen to your dispute. Since you're both willing to abide by the decision, we'll mediate as best we can.
I purchased a parcel of land 15 years ago. and have been selling my wares for ages. The Baron here tells me I owe him rent.
You see, I bought large tracts of land back in the days of the farmer. Hans was taken by a charlatan. I certainly didn't authorize the sale.
Yes, well, you did nothing to stand up for your claim to the land. After endless talk with the barristers, we are still deadlocked.
Baron, tell me more about your claim to the land.
By right of original acquisition, the law says the land is mine. I bought it first. Sure, it was human lifetimes ago, but first is first. I am an old goblin, so years pass like months for me. I didn't notice Hans had set up shop and claimed my land as is until recently. I think I'm being fair. He owes me rent for the last several years, and if he wants to stay, he needs to keep paying rent, or he can leave.
Hans, can you explain why exactly you think your claim is stronger than the Baron's?
My purchase to the land was vetted and signed by the city of Stonebridge. They failed to research the land's original ownership. But even so, I can claim the right of eminent domain. I've used the land for over 10 years, with no argument from the original owner. I feel terrible that the Baron's land was sold out from under him, but he had ample time to correct this mistake.
I see. The laws are indeed at an impasse here, but I've come to a decision.
So what will it be? Is the land indeed mine, or does this human get to claim it?
The land wasn't Hans's to buy, but the Baron did nothing to protect his claim. You must divide the property or buy out the other's stake.
I guess that's about as fair a ruling as you could make. Also a coward's decision. But I said I'd honor it, so I will.
I can't fit my shop on half of that parcel. But I suppose I should be happy for anything. Thank you for taking the time to arbitrate this.
A deal is a deal. Hans, let's go figure out which half is yours and which is mine. Hopefully we don't need someone to arbitrate that.
Half a human generation has gone by without the Legion here to settle disputes. At last, that tradition returns to Stonebridge. I know you have evil to smite, so it means a lot to me and to the city that you can take time for the little things. Here's a little something for your efforts. Now be careful out there.
Not so fast, Legionnaire. None shall pass this gate without the express authorization of the wise and beneficent Meisters of Stonebridge.
We're going to the crypts of the Sacred Blood, at Meister Mudgutter's request.
I see. More soldiers of fortune to clean up the crypts of the Sacred Blood. I was instructed to let you pass. It must be very pleasant in the crypts. Everyone who has entered them decides to stay there permanently.
Sorry, my friends, the Foundry is closed for an undefined amount of time. We do regret any inconvenience this may cause.
Meister Castle told us that your Cyclops workers have taken over the Foundry.
The Cyclopses have gone mad. They've killed a few of our foremen, and the gears of the Foundry have stopped. We spotted goblin agitators inside as well. And if that wasn't enough, the fire elementals that power our furnaces have gotten loose.
I need to ask you a few questions before I go inside.
Of course, anything. Just ask.
These goblin agitators you mentioned, do you know who hired them, or what their plan is?
They wore no official heraldry and made no statements of allegiance. We give tours of the Foundry. I'm sure that's how they got in. The Cyclopses haven't killed them, so for all we know, they're working together. Perhaps they incited this madness.
How exactly did these Cyclopses get into the Foundry in the first place?
Oh, they've been here for years. And in all this time, they've tirelessly tended the Foundry without complaint or commotion. This caught us all by surprise. One moment they were working peacefully, the next, wanton violence.
Do you have any idea why your workers would take over the Foundry?
The Night Foreman, the man in charge when this uprising began? I'm afraid he's dead. All our efforts have gone into evacuating the wounded and making sure the Cyclopses don't escape into the city. We're short on facts.
We're ready to help. What would you have us do?
Our attempts to parley have ended in bloodshed. You'll need to pacify them by force. I don't want the Cyclopses eliminated. I just want them to go back to work. So find their leader and humble him. The sooner the Foundry is back in operation, the better. If you can restart any of the gear works below, that would also be a great help.
The beasts.
Those grates must be used to vent excess heat from the furnaces. I would advise against stepping. those fire jackals appear abnormally hot. That may interfere with the Cyclops' ability to control them. If only we can open their cage.
in.
Please help. The Cyclopses have gone mad. They locked us in here and dragged my men off to Azanai knows what awful fate.
I'll free your men. Do you know where they were taken?
The Cyclopses took them. Over there, past the fire grates, on the other side of the chamber. I don't know what they're planning, but those two are like brothers to me. Please, will you help them? Did you find my men? Are they all right?
No.
Please hurry.
Saints bless him. I knew Olga would send something.
a goner for sure. I need to get to the surface and let my family know that I'm not dead. I owe you one, Legionnaire.
So you are the ones who fight for the Iron Puppet Dogs. This Foundry is ours now. Never be slaves again.
The other Cyclopses attacked us on sight. We had to defend ourselves.
Indeed, your kin attacked us the moment we set foot in the Foundry. But enough fighting. An eye for an eye leaves... never mind.
You took the side of the bosses. You want to enslave us, to make us work without pay, just like the paper says.
Slavery is quite a charge. They said you've been working peacefully for years.
We worked for free because we didn't know better. Then I read from the paper, and I shared its words with my kin.
What paper are you talking about?
An old man gave the paper to me. He called it a manifesto. He said we deserve a better life. We have the right to refuse to work, to demand better pay.
If you tell your brothers to stand down, we'll talk to Meister Castle.
I will trust you to go to the Ironmongers, to decide how best to end this fight. It is only by your mercy that we live. We will accept whatever judgment you make.
In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. A pity the average citizen of Stonebridge actually has remarkable visual acuity.
Surely you must be joking, Meister Fiddlewick. I shall not reward the slaying of my guild members with salaries and contracts. If these beasts weren't vital to the operation of the Foundry, I'd charge every one of them with murder, and they could all go to the gallows.
Funny that you mention legal action. Last I recall, slavery was a criminal offense in Stonebridge. Shall we take this matter to the courts?
You weren't honest with me, Meister Castle. The Cyclopses didn't go mad. They were fighting for their rights.
What are you talking about? The Cyclopses turned violent and killed my people without provocation. Is that what they told you? That this was a work strike? I'd say you've been misled.
I didn't expect to find you both here. What's this all about?
Now that you've done Castle's dirty work and violently ended the strike, he wants to dishonor the dead by maintaining the status quo.
Those beasts went mad. Don't try to rationalize their crimes.
What Meister Castle means to say is that he thinks the Cyclopses are mere animals. I say, anything that has a mind has rights.
The Cyclopses agreed to stop fighting if I speak to you on their behalf.
You... what? What nonsense is this?
Meister Castle is an endless font of courtesy and grace. Go ahead. Thank the Legion for saving your lives.
Yes, thank you for ending the violence. But what do you mean you speak for them? Those beasts are making demands?
They've been your slaves. Free labor for your guild. Now they have a manifesto, and they demand a fair wage.
A manifesto? What kind of nonsense is that?
Manifesto, now, means a public declaration of principle and intent. May the old man distribute it to all the oppressed lower classes.
An old man? The dapper old gent, no doubt. When Wolf hears about this, he's going to give me the "I told you so" of a lifetime.
Why would the dapper old gent care about the Foundry?
The whole economy of Stonebridge rests on the power of the foundries, churning gears, and the cheap metal goods that our forges provide.
The economy of Stonebridge hinges on its workers, not your machines. But yes, the Foundry is a crucial part of our supply chain.
The Foundry needs to reopen one way or another. I speak for the Cyclopses, so whatever I say, they will honor.
Well then, something good came of all this violence. My good Legionnaire, tell the Cyclopses that they may resume work as salaried employees.
Shut your goblin spout! They agreed long ago to servitude as payment for their crimes. They cannot just ignore a contract.
Meister Castle, you said the Cyclopses agreed to servitude?
Years ago, long before the Legion fell, a tribe of Cyclopses wandered down from the mountains and raided the town. At great cost, the people of Stonebridge bested them. Their chieftain agreed to a lifetime of servitude to spare his people from the noose. Yes, I profit from their work, but so does the whole city. A contract is a contract. We can't ignore rules and laws, not even old ones.
Meister Fiddlewick, you clearly favor the Cyclopses. I'd like to hear your side of the argument.
For years, this city has flourished, largely at the expense of the Cyclopses, slaving away in the Foundry. Castle used you. He told you the Cyclopses had gone mad so you would enforce his profit margin. Why do you think he lied to you? There is nothing subtle about my argument. The Cyclopses are thinking, reasoning beings and should not be slaves to any man or goblin.
I've heard enough. I'm ready to decide.
My hands are tied. The Cyclopses will listen to you and you alone, now that you've beaten them. I pray you make the right choice.
And I, for one, respect the old tradition of letting the Legion be the mediators of best resort. I know you will choose rightly.
The Cyclopses acted in self-defense. They must be given fair wages and treated with respect.
And if they are not, we shall tell them to leave this city forever.
What? Nonsense! The Cyclopses are bound by an agreement. If you wanted my vote, you just lost it. Bah! Tell them I will negotiate their wages. This decision is foolish, but I won't have the Cyclopses leave. The city needs them.
He'll calm down eventually. But you have my thanks, and I pledge my vote to you when the time comes.
Terribly sorry. Meister Castle has insisted that we have no further dealings with the Legion. Castle believes you capitulated to the demands of thugs. But I am grateful for your help. More of our colleagues would surely have died if not for you.
We fixed the gears as well as we could. The Foundry is impressive when it comes to life.
True. The whole city relies on the power of our furnaces and gears. Here's a little something for your trouble.
Did you find my men?
Yes.
They are? Hazanai bless you. And all the saints as well. I wish I had more to reward you with, but this is all I can give.
I didn't help you for a reward, but if you mentioned this to Castle, we'd appreciate it.
It's said that the greatest rewards are not monetary, though I didn't think they meant political capital.
Your generosity knows no bounds, my friend. I'll tell Castle, and I'll raise a glass in your honor next time I'm drinking with my mates.
See, I built this automaton, and it might have gone into a bloodthirsty frenzy of violence, maybe. If you could do me a favor, I figure it'd be in everyone's best interest if it got smashed up without involving the local authorities. Last thing I need is to have the Sweatcog brand name lose its immaculate reputation for safety.
What sort of name is Sweatcog?
Engineering is 10% innovation, 20% math, and 80% perspiration. Sweatcog is a proud name. Don't mock it.
Can't you just shut it off?
Oh, I thought of that. Problem is, I thought of that after I built the construct. So, the only off switch it's got involves smashing it.
We'll take care of it. Just tell us where it is.
Excellent. You'll find the automaton on the other side of town. Just try to deal with it before it causes too much trouble. If you stop it, come on back and I'll pay you for your efforts. work, my friends. I'll need to remember to install a safety switch on my next construct. Here's your payment. Now, something's been bothering me. Nothing in my schematics would have allowed for hostile tendencies. I think someone tampered with my construct. I don't have any rivals that hate me that much, but I have had quite a few parts go missing recently.
We can look into the matter for you.
All I ask is that you keep an eye out for any of the automaton parts that have gone missing. If you find such a construct, kindly bring me back some parts. Simple enough. Well, thanks again. Take care.
Ah, good. I thought I'd find you here. I heard the Legion was back in town, and I've been scampering to get my old notes in order. You see, I've been archiving the history of the 10th Legion in Stonebridge. A sad history, to be sure, but my research can help you.
Go on. What kind of research do you mean?
I've studied the event of the local Legion's demise, the riots. I've kept track of many looters and killers that profited on that day. Some who looted the Chapterhouse proudly displayed their ill-gotten gains, showing off stolen Legion property to house guests. Such arrogance. Well, I have kept track of these pompous criminals, especially the ones who insisted they'd be buried with their trophies.
Those artifacts belong to the Legion. I'll do whatever it takes to get them back.
I've assembled a list of graves that should contain stolen... Here, take my notes. Unless the thieves have started looting coffins at random, you should be able to recover the stolen items.
Smuggling automatons? Now I've seen everything, including a man removing his own head to prove a rhetorical point. Nest of thieves. They've certainly picked an unlikely place to hide.
Well, look at that sprocket! A magic command from afar can click this little widget in place and disable conflict resolution inhibitors. Clever indeed, but I'm sure I could craft a countermeasure. Ah, listen to me ramble. Here's your reward. Now, if you'll pardon me, I need to formulate my schematics. Good day.